choice but to declare you excommunicado.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Odin's Movie Blog. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope doing well. And yeah, I had forgotten to turn off the excommunicado video, and so that was a fun start to the stream. Hope everyone's doing well on this Tuesday. Welcome back to the One Man Low Council and to episode 182 of the Welcome to Asgard podcast, because yes, sometimes when I finally have time, I do indeed post these up as podcasts over on Red Circle. So hope everyone's week is going very swimmingly. We, of course, got some things to talk about this evening. I saw Tenet yesterday at 5 p.m. I have a lot of thoughts about the movie. I'm going to try and keep it as spoiler-free as I can for anyone wondering. I'm going to keep it spoiler-free. However, if at any point I do decide to dive into any spoilers, I will let you all know before I do so. But again, the plan is to stay away from spoilers, but if I ever do, I will, of course, let you know. That's why there's no spoiler-free tag or spoiler tag, because it could really be one of anything, but I will definitely warn for anyone that has not yet seen it and wants to see it with a completely fresh lens without having anything to kind of taint their overall view of the movie. Yes. So I will, of course, be respecting that. And talking a little bit about AMC theaters, because I've gone back to AMC theaters twice now since they've reopened in my neck of the woods. And sadly, my AMC has not really done a great job as far as starting movies on time. So I'll talk a little bit about that as well. But I hope everyone is doing swimmingly. Let me say hello to my D-Live fam first. How is it going, D-Live fam? Let's see. We got Adam and the Clan. We got Captain Mr. Roy. How's it going, Mr. Roy? We got Phone Nemo in the chat. We've got ZK Man. What's going on, ZK Man? Make sure you support ZK Man over on Twitter. He is launching some music on Friday and is raising money for a great cause, so please go support him. If you want to find out more information, go check out the Chosen of Valhalla stream that we had on Sunday. It was a 4-hour extravaganza, one of the longest streams I've had on my channel, especially in a very, very long time, and we just had a damn good time. Lots of great conversations with good friends, and it was a good time, so please go check it out. If you need to put it on 1.5 or 2 speed, I understand, because 4 hours is a lot. But hey, it's not nearly close to being as long as an EFAP episode, and I know we got some EFAP fans in here. Let's see, we got Captain Dean Heiss in here, we got Captain Mr. Peabody and here as well. Phone Nemo in the chat. Tadden says, the wife and I agreed to wait 2 weeks until I can see Tenet since baby Selena is just almost 2 weeks old. Yes, indeed, Phone Nemo. Want to make sure you take care of the baby. Baby obviously has a very low immune system, and even though all the information and all the stats that we're getting about COVID are becoming more and more of us realizing, wow, we just totally over-exaggerated and overblew all of this. Trying to keep the baby as safe as you can and trying to keep the baby free from any illness whatsoever, whether it's COVID or not, is a smart idea, which is why usually you'll find that people will limit their interactions to the outside world, especially in the early weeks and maybe even early months of pregnancy. Rather, after birth, just because it's all about trying to protect the child who's trying to build that immune system up and doesn't really have much of an immune system. And so obviously you want to be very careful with that phonema. But yeah, definitely glad to hear that y'all have come to that, because yeah, it's a mind F, as I've been saying a couple different places. And yes, I'm censoring myself in that way. Adam says, tomorrow in America, me and... and let's see, the K-Man doing great. Thank you, Odin. Thank you for being here. County High says 2 times speed, you wouldn't be able to understand you. This is true on a normal video, on a normal stream, but on the Chosen stream, it's other people on there that don't speak nearly as quickly as I do, and so it will not be nearly as bad, Dean Heiss. Speaking of which, I actually do have packaged right now all the people that won the giveaway that was last stream. So all the giveaway winners, I have them all packaged up. I just need to tape a couple of them, because I have these papers where it can print it on labels and you have to flip it the right way because the printer goes the opposite way, and I printed it on the back. And I did not feel like printing it again and having to put a refund request in, and just didn't want to deal with it. So I'm going to have to tape those on instead. And once I do that, I'll be able to drop those off. So either tomorrow or the day after, I'll be dropping those off at the post office. So y'all should be getting y'all's giveaway items within the next week or week and a half, depending on shipping rates and, of course, also your location. So yes, indeedy. And let's see. Phonema says, we are hoping baby Selena has my immune system and not my wife's. Yes, I sure hope that baby Thor has my immune system, because I tend not to get sick nearly as much, nearly as often, and that would be great. And also, at the very least, I hope that he has my disposition, which is, hey, if we have, if I'm sick, I can kind of usually, push through it, where if Frey is sick, it's, nope, I'm not doing anything. I'm laying in bed, and it's very, very sad. So it's awful. All right, let me head over now to the YouTube chat. What's going on, YouTube peeps? So Mr. Roy was here at 5:21, very early. Eric Stone was here as well. Joseph Ippolito was here. Orange Hat Reviews, who's a member on the channel, says howdy all, and howdy to the All Father. Thank you. Golden Ration was here at 6:42 and Tad, and says, hail Odin, good evening. Good evening to you. Jake D with an early $5 super chat says, hail Odin, heading into Tenet right now, so I'll miss the stream. Looking forward to the replay. Well, Jake D, thank you very much for the super chat, man. I appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy Tenet. Tenet is a movie that I think is going to divide a lot of audiences. Now, when it comes to, anyone that says, well, the critics were divided too, here's the thing. When the critics are complaining about stuff, usually it's just stupid stuff, and obviously critics can't really be trusted at all, especially when you have critics that are complaining about movie theaters and saying, you shouldn't go to see any movies, and, oh, we didn't get our free tickets, and, oh, we didn't get our free access, and, oh, I can't believe we're being asked to go to a theater and risk our lives, even though the death rate is so low, and the chance of me even getting it is incredibly low because only 1.8% of the entire U.S. population even has it. I don't want to hear that. So, yeah, screw the critics, but audiences, general audiences especially, are going to be very, very split on this movie, because if you love Nolan, if you love films like Inception, the ones that make you think, the ones that blow your mind, I would even argue that Interstellar has moments like that as well. I think that you will probably enjoy this movie. That being said, there are people that have enjoyed said movies and are having issues with this film, specifically because of various audio mixes, depending on the theater that you've chosen. I've noticed that a lot of people that have seen the film in IMAX, basically the way either that the IMAX theater is playing it, or it could even be Nolan, it could be the way that he tuned the film for IMAX screens, is something where it's very, very loud, it's very noisy for one, which is what IMAX usually is, but even more so, like over the top. And it's also drowning out some dialogue. Now, for me personally, all I can do is speak to my own experience. I did not have issues. I understood about 90 to 95% of the words being spoken, which to me is not that big of a deal, not that big of an issue. Compare that to my issues with The Expanse, where I can only understand maybe 75% or less of the dialogue. I feel like the mixing is much better in Tenet than it is in that show. And then, of course, I've had people tell me because of the TV they have, they've not had any issues with The Expanse. And I imagine that once the 4K and Blu-ray of this movie comes out, that more people will have less issue with the film too. We actually have had this issue come up before when films like The Dark Knight Rises came out, specifically in IMAX because of the way it was mixed, and I believe also even Interstellar as well. So it does seem to be a history with Nolan. So the real question is this a Nolan decision? Is this something that he has done with his sound mixing and his sound editing? Or is this something that IMAX has done with his films? It's really hard to tell, at least at this point in time. But Jake D, I hope you enjoy the movie. Tina B's in the chat. Empress of the Universe, thank you very much for being here. Zachariah315 is in the chat as well. JKD Buck76 is here. Definitely be praying for your grandfather and also your grandmother as well. Married for 70 years. I know that must be really tough, but at the end of the day, I think having 70 years with somebody is obviously, I think, time well spent. And I think that is something that obviously it hurts now, but over the coming weeks, it's going to be, you know what, I had a very long time. And that's just a great friendship right there, to be with someone for 70 years. And that's something that's so rare in the modern world, right? When you look at people getting married and the divorce rate being so high, right? And that's a different era. That is a different time. And it's when people were actually friends and became friends and grew as friends instead of focusing on all the crap that just doesn't matter. So Definitely going to be praying for your family. Forever Sci-Fi is a member. Hail to you. Glad to see you in the chat. HyperNex13 is in the chat. 13th Warrior is here as well. Mark Lazarth. Oh, by the way, Mark Lazarth, I've pronounced your name Mark Lazarth because that is how Gary Nerdrotic has pronounced it. But as I was filling out the information to ship your giveaway item to you, I was like, your name is not Mark Lazarth, it's Mark Lurseth. So is it pronounced Lurseth? Or Lurseth? Let me know which you prefer. Or do you prefer the Gary Nerdrotic Lazarth? Because I was like, Gary seems to be adding an R there, but that's how I've always known it because that's how Gary always pronounced it. So let me know which one you prefer. Cobra Viper 999, what's going on? Father Christopher Miller, hail to you, Father. He's in the chat. Balan the Hobbit. How's it going, Balan to Hobbit? How's it going? He then says, I want to watch your live stream, but I'm trying to stay away from Tenet spoilers. I will catch you on Saturday stream. Balan, I hope you stayed for my intro, man. I'm not doing heavy spoilers. My plan is to be mostly spoiler-free. And if I am going to go into spoilers, I will give fair warning, and I'll try and do like a sign and signal and all that jazz. So, but my plan is not to give spoilers. Miss Martin Muses, how's it going, Miss Martin Muses? Missed you on Sunday. Hopefully you can join us for this coming month's chosen stream because we'll have it a little bit earlier because, yeah, as of tomorrow, we'll be entering into week 35 of baby Thor's development. And so at that point, really, any week at this point because lungs will be fully developed. And now it's just, putting on weight all the way up until birth. And so, all the development is essentially done. It's now just gaining weight, and that's why it can really happen at any time. So, yeah, it's something where people said, are you scared? It's like, well, I'm not really scared per se. I think that once it starts happening, right, that's when the emotions will flare up. But for right now, it's, okay, well, we still have 5 weeks, or supposedly, right? We're supposed to have about 5 weeks or so. But the closer we get to the end of the month, the more likely... Hey, Google. Hey, Google. Hey, Google, shut up, please. Thank you. Know your place. Thank you. Lord, she's always getting into my business. I don't understand it. But anyway, so, yeah. And now I lost my train of thought as to where I was. But yeah, no spoilers. It's the last thing I was saying. Miss Martin Muses, thank you for the rose. Thank you very much for the super sticker rose. I appreciate it. 13th Warrior, howdy, Odin. Is that a respectful enough greeting for the Allfather? Of course it is. Howdy is fine. Howdy's fine. Speaking of howdy, reminds me, we are celebrating tonight the birthday of Stephanie B, who will be celebrating her birthday tomorrow. But since we're streaming tonight, shout out to the General Stephanie B. I'm not sure if she's in the chat yet because obviously I am already about 13 minutes behind. But if she is, make sure you wish her a very, very happy and blessed birthday. Seriously, thank you very much, Stephanie B, for being here. And you will be having a gift sent your way. So, all right. Let us see here. Super Anime Gamer. Hey, what's up, my dude? What's going on? Super Anime Gamer. Nathan Slays in the chat. Zachary315 says, howdy. Howdy, howdy, how. Hypernex13 tagged and says, my brother, how are you? Sorry I missed the Chosen stream the other day. Happy to be with y'all today. Just saw the leaked Dune teaser. It looks and fine, but hope the trailer is better. I've not seen any of the leaks from it. I cannot wait for an official trailer because, as you all know, Denis Villeneuve, who's the director of the film, is one of my favorite directors working. I have not seen a bad film from him. I've seen films that are, more obscure, like Enemy. Very, very weird film, but it was also still very well done. So, yeah, I'm still pretty excited for it. Tina B says, damn, I have to restart YouTube. It's freezing up on me again. I'm very sorry to hear that. Soul Assassin, how's it going? Sergeant Politeness, yes, I saw it in the IMAX. I didn't say, but I don't want to be declared excommunicado. Well, it's too bad. It's too bad. Peter Hahn, how's it going? Don't worry, I will get the info. I just love to shout out my people before I fall too far behind. Thanatos Felicitas, only question I have is, do you understand the movie? I think I do, Thanatos. It's interesting. I've had a lot of conversations with people on the Geeks and Gamers team that have watched it. I've been talking with my bud, John the Flickpick Flickinger, who has a very different opinion on the movie than I does. I think his review for the film should be coming out pretty soon. And yeah, very differing opinions. There's people who I think, me and Jeremy, I think, are kind of on the same page where our minds are just so blown and we think that we love it. But I think I'm a little bit more on the loving side because here's the thing. If you want to go into a movie and you want your mind to be blown and you want to have to focus on every word being spoken and essentially do work to enjoy a movie, to understand the plot, then this movie's for you. If you want to sit back and mindlessly watch the movie, which again, some people want to have those experiences, right? You want to just sit back and just see explosions and just see action and see mindless stuff on the screen, easy to digest plot. Hey, that's fine. There's a place for that. I like those films too. This is not that movie. If you're going in for a casual experience, you're going to be very disappointed and you're going to be very confused. I went in, luckily, knowing that people were saying, okay, this is very, very, very Nolan. This is very complex. And so I went in with the expectation for me to be like, okay, as soon as this movie starts, I am zooming in and I am hyper-focusing. And I was able to do that for 2.5 hours. So I think that kind of speaks also to how the movie moves and to the story, because it was able to keep me focused. And as you all know, I can fall asleep in movies. It happens a lot. I was coming right after work. You know, it's a 2.5 hour movie. My show started at 5, so I didn't have a whole lot of separation between the end of my workday and the movie. So I was in prime position to fall asleep, but I didn't. So I think that speaks volumes to just the film itself. But I do think I understand it. There are a lot of things people are saying, what about this and what about this? And I'm like, oh, you didn't notice this? Or, oh, wait, you didn't pick up on that. And so I think that maybe I'm picking up more because I was hyper-focused and because I was ready for that experience. But yeah, it's something that I think is going to be a very split thing, that some people will understand it, some people won't. Mark Lissette says, some said the sound was hard to hear in Tenet. I thought it was brisk, but could follow mostly. Yeah, Mark Lissette, I'm right there with you, dude. Like that was my experience as well. Where, again, was the sound loud? Well, yeah, I'm in an IMAX screen. You know, I saw it in IMAX. The sound's usually very loud. And so all the sounds, the guns, you know, anytime there was a gunshot, right? That's not really a spoiler, right? You expect guns in this movie because you see it in the trailer. And all just the general noises and the score. By the way, score. Tasty. Tasty score. In IMAX especially, I was just like, yes. I wish it was Hans Zimmer, but it was pretty damn close to being that level of epicness. But yeah, I can understand though why people would have issues hearing it because of having those loud noises. And I don't think that is conducive to the movie. I would much rather the IMAX have equal levels for both and not be like almost ear-shattering loudness. I think that some IMAX screens are tuned in certain ways, and some of them it's just very nice and loud, which is how it's supposed to be. And then there's others where it's just overkill, you know, and so my screen was more overkill, but I could also understand, again, as I said, 90 to 95% of the movie. HyperNext13 tagged and then says, so is the Tenet plot about preventing World War III or World War II, or is it time travel or something? Oh man, well, no major plot points, so I'm not going to be talking about anything with the plot. So please also, if you could not tag me in any spoiler comments, that would be great. I usually can pick up on those things, but not always. So please don't. Bruce, who's a member, says, spoil it all. No, there's so few surprises left in this world, and there's so few Nolan films that come out, right? Because he spends time cultivating and creating it. Nathan Slay tagged and says, by the way, I rewatched John Wick last night and will give John Wick 2 another chance tonight. I'm preparing myself for Parabellum for the first time tomorrow night. Never saw it before. I hope you enjoy it. Just know, and as I always say, John Wick 1 is the best overall film. 2 has the best story. 3, I think, has the best action. That is, of course, just my humble opinion. Tina B says she's back. Let me see what I've missed. Sorry, Odin. YouTube keeps freezing. I'm very sorry. Hopefully no one else is having any YouTube issues. We do have 73 people watching, so thank you for being here. And make sure you smash that like button. Tina says, Peter said, give him the goods. That is all. Yes, I saw. HyperNext 13 tagged. Wait, so Tenet has time travel. Spoilers, Odin. I love the joke y'all gave when rewatching the Valhalla stream. Yes, I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Yes, we talked a lot about Oldsmobile Batman. If you missed that on that discussion, it was a lot of fun. You know, so people were complaining about it not, you know, the Batman in the new Batman trailer not being the Batman that they expect. And then for me, I'm like, it kind of makes you wonder, though, which Batman do you expect? Because if you want to go back to the origins, you got to go back to Oldsmobile Batman. And I think the K-Man actually looked up the actual car that's not an actual Oldsmobile, but I just like to call it that because it's an old car. It's great. It's great. Well, obviously, I mean, again, if you've seen the trailer, you know that time has some element to play in the plot. That's not a spoiler. That's very clear in the trailer of the movie where you're seeing things going back, right? So obviously there's a time element that's in there. Obviously. Brad Noble has had comments deleted, so I'm assuming he's been put in timeout. Edgardo Martinez, hail to you. Glad to see you here. Christine B. Fernandez, how is it going? Glad to see you here. Nathan Slate tagged, why is John Wick 1 so good? It was made for only $20 and it was amazing. I'm assuming you mean $20 million. And is that true? Because that seems kind of low for that production budget. Again, I knew that it wasn't like $100 million film, but I need to fact check that. Double check. All right, that is the third movie. Yeah, it was made between $20 and $30 million. So I would actually say probably, based on what I saw, it looked more close to 30. But yeah, it was a very, very good movie. It was very good. And the reason why it's so good is because it used mostly, guess what? Practical effects. It used the actors doing a lot of their own stunts, doing gun work. And guess what? That means you save on money. It's possible. It is very, very possible. Brad Noble then says rigged. Hypernex13 had a comment and then it skipped on me because that is just how it goes. Man, Brad was put into timeout. So many comments. I'm assuming he spoiled something, so I think I'm going to stop undeleting them because something tells me that he probably did that. But anyway, let me jump over to DLive and then I'll talk a little bit about my experience with Tenet. Because that's, I'm assuming, why some of you are here. Phonemo, we are hoping Baby Selena has my immune system, not my wife's. Indeed. Then says, critics matter. They haven't been relevant since like 2000. Definitely seems that way. All right, looks like we have a troll in the chat. Hopefully y'all took care of him. Phonemo, thank you for the diamond donation. It says, from Baby Selena. Well, thank you very much, Baby Selena. I very much appreciate that. Very, very much so. Looks like no one took care of it, so I will, because that person just seemed like they were about to start some trouble. So, ZK-Man, yes, I like looking things up, so that's why I had to look up the Bat Oldsmobile. I would never have guessed a Mercury. So, yeah, the original Batmobile was a Mercury. Fun fact. Or as I like to say, the Oldsmobile. All right, and bye-bye. No, I'm not playing any music. Get out of here. Get out of here. Come on. Come on, people. I do love troll hunting. It's very easy. It's very, very easy to do so on DLive because they're always everywhere. All right, I'm caught up on DLive, so let's talk a little bit about Tenet. Eric K, thank you very much for the $1.50 donation. I'm assuming that is a super sticker, so as soon as I get to that in the chat, I will shout out what it actually is. But yes, so Tenet is, for me, an amazing film. It has great writing, and it's the kind of writing, though, and I want to put like an asterisk next to that, because to me it's much like Inception. And the way I've been describing the movie plot-wise is, imagine Inception but on steroids. So Inception is a movie that, made us think, made us sit back, made us have to pay attention, right? And it was great because there's not too many movies out there these days that make us have to pay attention and have to listen to the plot and work things out in our mind and kind of teach us along the way. And Nolan is really good and is known for making those kinds of movies, which is why I am usually a pretty big fan of his. He does not make great films all the time. As I've said, I had issues with Dunkirk. I don't think it was a great film. It wasn't a bad film. Like, technically speaking, it was still fantastic. I don't think he's ever made a technically bad movie other than just script and story. So Inception, obviously, is, I think, a great example here. However, I say it's like Inception on steroids because if you thought Inception was confusing, and the fact that we're still talking about the ending of Inception to this day kind of speaks to that point, I think that we're going to be speaking about the plot of this movie for years and years to come. But not because of the ending per se, but because of just the things that are brought up in the story and how they give certain information. They're able to give you some information about how things work, but they also still keep some things back. And I want to say it was maybe Jeremy Johns in his review said, he knows that Nolan's not known for making sequels, but he almost wishes that there would be a sequel to this movie. And to be honest, I think the world that is built up here, right, with the concept that's built up, with this, it doesn't matter what the fate of any of the characters are, right? Because again, I'm not going to, talk about anything as far as that goes. But I think anything dealing with specifically the time elements and doing the reversal of time especially is something that would be very interesting to see play out in another film, in this world. So I don't think Nolan would do that because it's not really his thing. But I would like to, I would love for that to be a potential and a possibility. So the script and the story Inception on steroids. Very, very complex. As I said, I had to be hyper-focused just to follow the plot and just to figure things out. But as it went on, I was able to essentially, I was able to follow what was going on. I was able to say, okay, here's what's happening. Here's what's, okay, now there's some changes going on here. And again, I'm trying to avoid talking too many spoilers about when it comes to the plot alone, but it is something where you have to pay attention to it. Now, I also think the score is fantastic. So there's even what... Sorry, ADD, my mind's all over the place. So that's the reason why I would put an asterisk next to Eric K. Dude, stop with the super stickers. I don't even know what they are anymore. I don't even know what they are. I'm not even there yet. But thank you for the $2.50 super stickers, man. So now you're making me lose my train of thought. Eric K., look what you made me do. Look what you made me do. So I have an asterisk next to the story because right now, at this point, September 1st of 2020, I think the script is brilliant. I think it's fantastic. That being said, just like with Inception, where many people saw the movie, were blown away by it, and loved it, Inception 10 years later does not hold up nearly as well as it did at the time. Now, do many people still love Inception? Absolutely. Do I still enjoy it? Yes. Do I want to watch it as much as I did when I had first seen it? No. The reason why, of course, is because there's certain story elements that held up at the time, and then the more you thought about it, the more you dissected it, you realize, wait a minute, this doesn't work, and wait a minute, there's a lot of things that don't make sense here, and things that seem to be very inconsistent. And I think that could be the case with this movie. I can't confirm or deny that yet because it just came out, right? It's still very fresh in the mind. It's still something that we're processing. It's a movie where, Jeremy's already planning to go see it a second time. I know John, is planning to see it a second time. I know that I want to see it a second time too, and I'm probably going to see it in just a regular 2D showing, with no special sound or anything, because I just want to get a normal experience to see if the sound levels are able to fix themselves over time. Eric K. keeps dropping those $1.50 super stickers, and it's distracting. So if you want to know why I'm not staying on task, blame Eric K. in the chat. In fact, go ahead and say, Eric K., stop throwing Odin off. I appreciate the love, man, but come on. And so I think it's something that over time we will probably change our minds on. Editing. Editing is also one of these weird areas because while the editing is, I think, well done, for a 2.5-hour movie, I think it's way too much editing. There's way too many cuts. The old saying goes that one should never realize that a cut has taken place. An editor should be invisible. An editor should be someone that no one is able to really notice because they're doing their job so well. And I think that this film has so many edits to it, especially with how long of a movie it is kind of distracting. Like the plot moves at such a quick pace. The dialogue moves at such a quick pace where you have to pay attention. And the editing and the quick cuts don't really help with that. Because it's one thing if you're looking at a stable image, listening to fast dialogue for, a solid, maybe 10 seconds or so. It's another where in that 10 seconds, you've now had 3 or 4 different cuts because now your mind has been trying to focus on, okay, what am I looking at? Who am I looking at now? But I'm still listening to this. So for someone like me, especially with ADD, I was like, whoa, I'm very distracted by this. And so I ended up just being, okay, I'm just going to focus specifically on the dialogue because that's exactly what I need to do. Eric K., thank you for another $1.50 super sticker. Dear Lord, man. And so for me, the editing was kind of distracting in that way. So editing, as I said, right, it's an art form. And it's something there maybe I could change my mind on, but for now, I think the editing is probably the weakest part of this movie because it was distracting. It almost made me feel like, is there a 3-hour or 3.5-hour cut of this movie that has less aggressive cuts and has longer sequences? Because if there is, I would love to see it. Because I would love to spend more time in this universe, and I would love to spend more time in the world that is built by Nolan here, and would also be able to love to watch the film without feeling like my head is going in five different directions in just a few seconds. So editing was a weak point for me. And then as far as really that's the only real, negative thing I have, there's a very small nitpick for me, which I do mention in my full review, which is on the main channel. And that is that, in movies, when sometimes they're the shot that's far away, people are talking, and you can see that it's obviously not the scene that you're hearing because the mouth doesn't match up to the words being spoken. There's a couple of moments when that happens. I'm someone that normally notices that thing. I don't know why. I'm always drawn to it. it bothers me every single time. So even in a Nolan movie where everything else is just great and technically, almost perfect, the fact that continues to happen just drives me insane, just like Eric K's continuous super stickers are just driving me insane as well. And so I think that is something that, you just have to keep in mind that you have to consider. But as far as overall strengths go, to me, the two greatest strengths of this movie are the score, which is just freaking fantastic, freaking phenomenal. As I said, from the very beginning, the opening scene, the opening sequence reminded me a lot of The Dark Knight. It reminded me a lot of the pacing and a lot of just the tone set by The Dark Knight. And the only thing missing was the Hans Zimmer score. We didn't get the Hans Zimmer score this time, but we still got a pretty damn good score nonetheless. In fact, I think it's like, is it Jurgensen or something to that effect? Let me go ahead and pull that up. So no need to post it. Yeah. So Ludwig Göransson. I knew it was something. So Ludwig Göransson had done the score for this movie, and to me, I just think it was just, again, it was fantastic. For anyone that maybe wants to know what other work he has done, let's see here if it has. Let's see. Okay, those are the awards that he's won. I'm trying to see the movies that he's done. He's done something for Jay-Z. That's actually pretty interesting. He did Black Panther. Okay, so he actually won That's right. Forgot Black Panther won an Oscar. God, I can't believe that. Still can't believe it. And won for Best Original Score. The score for Black Panther was good, by the way. It was definitely not a terrible thing. He also composed the score for The Mandalorian as well, and I think the Mandalorian score for me was pretty good. This one was the best, though. This to me, I think, was the best score that he has done so far. So that to me was a strength. The acting, of course, was a strength. Everyone in there was top-notch. Robert Pattinson. Important to say this about Robert Pattinson. 1, he's great in the movie. 2, there is a scene in here, there's a sequence in here, this is not spoiling anything, where he has to dress in a suit and act like a business professional. And in those moments where you see him walking around, at that moment you can see, I think, Bruce Wayne. So for anyone that's been worried, I know I was too, based on the very limited footage we had from the Batman trailer, I believe that he'll be able to pull off Bruce Wayne pretty well. It'll be very different looking Bruce Wayne, but still that more professional mindset, that more business type mindset, that tone is set in this movie. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, this guy could totally be Bruce Wayne. So I think if you go to see this movie and you want to find out more about Robert Pattinson and you think that maybe seeing this movie will let you see more about whether he'd be good for Batman or not, I think that the Batman side of it is still very much up in the air, but I think you'll be a lot more at ease when it comes to whether or not he would be a good Bruce Wayne. So I'll just say that about Robert Pattinson. All the other actors in the film obviously are just fantastic. The lead actor is also great. So I think that really not much needs to be said there. But the other thing too, so again, the two big ones are the score. Acting, of course, is great. But the other big one for me is the cinematography. I think the cinematographer of this film needs to be commended. If this dude does not get nominated at the Oscars, Oscars are a joke nowadays anyway. So if it doesn't get nominated, well then, patooey, I spit at you anyway. But Hoyt van Hoytema, I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that correctly or not. But he just did a phenomenal job. And for anyone wondering, this guy has done films like The Fighter, which was well shot. He also did Her, which was a beautifully shot movie. He's done Ad Astra, which even though Ad Astra sucked story-wise, cinematography was phenomenal for that one. And then he's also the one that helped shoot Interstellar and Dunkirk. Dunkirk as well. And I said, technically that film is great. Cinematography had a lot to do with it. So the same guy behind with Christopher Nolan, Interstellar, and Dunkirk did this movie. So it just looks fantastic. And what he and Nolan were able to do, especially with these reverse shots and the ones that we see in the trailer, and with time going back, it just blows your mind because you like what you think is just a simple, oh yeah, you're just playing it in reverse. You look at it and you see what they're doing, and there's so many things going on the screen. You're like, oh, they didn't just do that. They actually, him and the editing, and this is why the editing to me, I'm not really as full bore against it, because they also were the ones that were partaking in putting these shots together as well, working with the cinematographer, working with Nolan. And so I think all of them together just did incredible work on the visuals for the movie. So the visuals are just, freaking top notch as well. And so that's why in my initial review of the movie, I gave the film an A-. It's a film that I think the score is going to change over time for me. It's a film that I could see either falling more and more in love with, especially, oh my gosh, please, if there is somehow a 3 or 3.5 hour, like if there's an extended cut of the movie that fix the, it's not a pacing issue, but fixes the quick cut edits somehow and gives us more exposition and gives us a little bit more information, that would be just amazing. I would love, as I said, to spend more time in this world. So those are just my initial thoughts on it. I know I went off on a little bit of a tangent there, but it is in the title of the video after all. And so if, of course, there's any other questions that you have, or you want my thoughts about something specific, if you heard something, let me know. But again, right now we're trying to stay mostly spoiler free. And if at some point we do get into anything else, I will let you know. So we're at 7:06 in the YouTube chat. I am now 30 minutes behind. So, dear Lord, some comments I'm sure will indeed be skipped. But before I get into it, we have 75 people still watching. So please make sure you smash that like button. I appreciate it. And also, Eric K., thank you very much for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 super chat super stickers. And I'm sure I will get to those soon. HyperNex13 at 7:06 tagged and says, "Oh, Odin, sorry, I forgot to ask, did you receive my email for the giveaway?" Yes. So as I mentioned in the very beginning, I have all of those ready to ship. So either it'll be tomorrow or the day after. Slicer Neons, what's going on, man? Tad, it says, "I understand Odin at times 2 speed just fine. Wish the stream was double speed. Normal people talked so slow." Yeah, Slicer Neons, man. I listen to everything at pretty much 1.5 to 2 speed. I've been known on occasion to also listen to, so people know of Ben Shapiro. He talks fast. I've listened to him on 1.5 to 1.75 speed, which people say, how in the hell can you? It's just how my brain works, dude. Holy crap, man. Wow. The K-Man dropping $100 donation via Streamlabs. Holy crap, dude. Come on, man. We're supposed to be showing love and support to you this week for your project, for your album dropping, man. You don't have to do that. All right, Zakay, man, thank you so much for the $100. He says, "Allow your Valkyrie known as Stephanie B to choose a movie. Happy birthday, Stephanie. The rest goes to you, Freya, and baby Thor." Well, K-Man, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. And yeah, Stephanie B, in the name of the K-Man, you go ahead, message me in our private chat on Twitter with Tina, and you let me know what movie you want. Whatever the format is, we'll take care of it. With that kind of a donation, let me know. The sky's the limit, as they say. The sky's the limit. So thank you very much, K-Man, for that very generous donation. And once again, happy birthday to Stephanie B. Hopefully she's in the chat. Eric K., who's a member, hail to you. Hail, 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 hail to you. LQ3, how's it going? Glad to see you here. All right. Mr. Talim, how is it going? Father Christopher Miller, hail to you, Father. As a member at 708 says, "Wondering if I should stick around as I want to see Tenet, but it's going to be a while before it gets here." As I said, I'm going to keep it mostly spoiler free, and I will let you know if that changes. Eric K. tagged and says, "I know you do not do political, but Pelosi went to a hair shop in San Francisco without a mask. Imagine Gary and his wife are so mad." Eric K., yeah, I talked about, I don't know if you follow me on Twitter, but I shared that out on Twitter a couple times, actually. And yes, Gary knows about it. He's already tweeted about it himself, and they are obviously very pissed, and they should be. When a politician is going to be a part of the political class that's closing things down in an area, and then they are going to go beyond the law, us normies, us normal people, us plebe, we're just plebes down here, right? We're just the proletariat. Screw us, right? We can't do normal things, but if you're a politician, you want to get your hair blown out and washed? Go right ahead. Nancy Pelosi, come on down. Which is why I say, screw you, Nancy Pelosi. You suck as a Speaker of the House. You suck as a representative. And I hope and pray the people of your district finally vote your ass out of office because, dear Lord, I'm sorry. If anyone votes for you, they're an idiot. And I don't like to say that, but I'm sorry. Based on everything that she's done in her career, how can you not? All right, Forever Sci-Fi, tag 708. I want to see Tenet, but I don't feel good wearing the mask. So Forever Sci-Fi, that's another good thing. It's very relevant to our current discussion. The only time you have to wear the mask at the theater, this is at least with AMC, this is at least with my location, but I imagine it's going to be like this at every AMC, is when you walk into the door, when you're in line for concessions, and then as you're walking into the theater. As soon as you sit down, no one's checking. As soon as you sit down, no one comes in to check. No one comes in to make sure your mask is on, because they want you to buy concessions. They want you to spend the money. And so they're not going to be enforcing that, because if they do, they're just going to be pushing people away. So once you sit down, feel free to let the mask come off. Again, that's going to be your decision. That's going to be your call. I would recommend getting a beverage, because then if for any reason you're nervous about it, or you're not going to an AMC, and I can't confirm other theater chains, at the very least you can say, oh, beverage, and then they can't do anything. So yeah, you don't have to wear the mask the whole time. I've gone to see 2 movies now at AMC. I went to go see New Mutants in IMAX. I went to go see Tenet in IMAX. Both times had a beverage. And guess what? I was looking around, and there were people, both with beverages, without, who either had the mask on or off. Again, it's your personal preference, whatever you are comfortable with. The only thing that's required is that when you walk into the building, you have to have the mask on, which for me, it's like if I have to wear a mask for just, 30 seconds, entering the building and then going to the theater, and then can take it off and enjoy 2.5 hours without it, I'll take it. Why not? And then, of course, put it back on after the fact. So, yeah, don't let the mask freak you out. You're not going to have to wear it the whole time. Eric K., all San Francisco hair salons are closed, FY. Yep, I know. Tina B. Tad says, Stephanie sent the link to that story. What a fracking hypocrite. And the people trying to give her a leeway are pathetic. Yeah, seriously, anyone defending her is ridiculous. How could anyone say that's an essential service? That somehow a politician gets to go to a location that's boarded up and closed, but other businesses can't work, and other people can't get the same thing. It's ridiculous. It's hypocritical, and it's stupid. Renegade Spider, 2099. What's going on? Tad. Memento is a great Nolan film. In my opinion, his best film. I know he enjoys messing with time, so I'm excited for Tenet. Yes, so if you liked Memento, you'll, I think, like this movie, because it deals with time in a very different way. And that's what I was actually worried about. I was worried, is this going to just be a different take on, what they brought up with Memento? And it's not. So it's a very fresh take on time and the use of time. And I think they're able to pull it off very well. So I think, again, if you enjoy Memento, and here's, I think, the standard. If you enjoy and understand Inception, and you want something that's going to be even more complex than Inception, you'll do fine. If Inception is too complicated for you, you're not going to like this movie. Most likely. Again, obviously, I can't predict every person's opinion, but if complexity is a problem for you in a script, this is a very complex script. I'm going to be very transparent about that. It is very complex. So Nathan Slade just asked the same question about if you love Memento. As I said, Memento, maybe, right? If you love Nolan movies, then sure. But yeah, if you, Nathan Slade, if you had issues with the story, if you were confused by Inception, I don't think you're going to like Tenet. I'm just going to be honest with you. Super Dynamic Gamer, is Tenet non-linear? I guess that is kind of a spoiler, so I'm going to avoid answering that for now. So yeah, I'm just going to avoid answering that for now. Actually, no, I'll answer it. So I'm going to put my hand up, and for anyone that does not want to know whether or not it's non-linear or not, you can press the mute button. You can close your ears, all right? And then as soon as I put my hand down, I've stopped talking about it, all right? So I'm going to talk about it in 3, 2, and 1. So Super, it is linear, but there are parts that are non-linear. So it's a forward-moving story, but then there's parts that go back, and then it catches up with itself. So it's both linear and non-linear, okay? All right, so answered the question from Super. I think that's how I'll handle it. If anyone has questions where I have to talk about anything spoilery with the plot or anything, I'll just do that and give you all a warning, put the hand up, and that way, hopefully everyone's on the same page with it. If you're listening to this, hopefully you were able to pause it just for a few seconds. Again, I tried. I was very clear, and I tried. So anyway, good question, though. Very, very good question. Father Christopher Miller at 710 says, 70 years of marriage, sainthood for the husband now. Sainthood for both of them. I mean, when you put up with someone for 70 years. Father Christopher Walken's been married 51 years to the same woman. Dude, Christopher Walken. I love that dude. Bruce says the big mind blow in Interstellar was the ontological paradox. For me, my favorite mind-blowing part of Interstellar is because it's based in reality. This is Interstellar, so don't worry, I'm not spoiling anything from Tenet. But in Interstellar, when they are close to they're at the planet closest to the black hole, and so therefore, because of relativity, time works differently on the planet than it does in the ship. And when they're down on there for just like a few minutes or an hour or so, and then it's like, 20, 30 years for the person on the ship that they get back to, that was to me like, again, I understood it because it's based in science, but I was also like, whoa, so cool. So I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. Renegade Spider 2099. Oh, you are Alex Martinez. Well, thank you for letting me know. Mark this Earth. It is Lair Seth or Lur Seth, but Gary says it wrong. I don't mind. Okay. Lur Seth. Okay. Yeah, that's what I figured. So, but which do you prefer? Do you prefer Lair Seth? Mark Lair Seth? Because I can say it Lur Seth. Whichever way you prefer. Saint Vacos. Kigo Rogers, how's it going? Cobra Kai never died. Dean Heiss, who's a member on the channel. Hail to you, Dean Heiss. Glad to see you here. Father Christopher Miller says, Baby Thor, so help me, you'd better choose a saint's name for the kid. Oh, Father. That is the YouTube name for the baby. The baby we're down to 4 real names. Don't worry, Father. And almost all of them are in some way connected, at the very least middle name-wise, guaranteed to be the name of a saint. And I want to say all the first names, too, are all connected to a saint. Can't talk about them, so don't ask me, what are the names? Family doesn't even know those yet, so I will not say a thing. But yes, saintly names, don't worry. That's something that I've been looking into, for sure. Father then says, worst baptism I had was an African kid who had about 20 syllables in the last name. That sucked. Oh, no. Oh, no. I would hate to mispronounce that. Like their families, the poor kid's family's around, and then you butcher their last name, and then it's like, sorry. Baptized, though. Let's look at the bright side. Tina says, Brad Noble or Petrol needed some timeout in a timeout corner. Perfect. I, of course, trust Tina and Steph both with that duty. And it's a big duty. Orange Eye Reviews at 715 is a member. Oh, and I'm guessing you know that Tenet, the word, is a palindrome. Word spelled the same forward and backward. Would it be fair to say the movie is an attempt for a living palindrome? Orange Hat, I'm going to be honest. I didn't know that. Because for the longest time, I was like, Tenet, right? Because obviously the name is mentioned in the movie, but I was still kind of like in that, I wonder where they came up with that specific name to put into the movie. Now it makes much more sense. So thank you very much, Orange Hat. You've now taught me something. And so if you listen to the kind of spoilery comment that I made when I put my hand up, I think that answered that question. All right, here. Let us see. Renegade Spider says, I'm behind on so many videos, including yours. What is your subjective rating of Tenet and objective rating of it? If you don't mind me asking. Ooh, yeah, good question. So, objectively, I would give it a solid A. So, objectively, I would give it a solid... No. Scratch that, reverse it. Objectively, I would give it a B+ because of the writing and the editing. And subjectively, I would give it a solid A, which is why overall my rating of it is around an A-. So, yes. Because... subjectively, I thoroughly enjoyed it, but objectively, there are some issues. And I think my score objectively will go down if I see an actual interview where Nolan says he tinkered with the sound to have the background be as loud as it was. Because again, it wasn't a problem for me with the dialogue, but it was still loud nonetheless. And so if that's the case, I don't like that. And so I'll be sure to call out Nolan if that is the case, but we'll see. Eric K says, you have not lost that Levin feeling then, and Jeremy has. I don't think Jeremy has, though. Again, I haven't seen his comments recently, but the last time in the Geeks and Gamers chat, he had seen it, and he said his mind was blown and that he wanted to see it again. He was kind of holding off on comments. So Maybe he said something since then. Father says, those that spoil a Tenet go to very special hell, says Father Christopher Miller. Well, again, unless they give a warning like I did. Hypernex13, I will say one thing about the leaked Dune teaser. Batista looks creepy as a villain, and Momoa looks pretty good without a beard, though don't know if the Valks would like that. Well, I think Momoa should keep the beard because I'm just a beard guy. I mean, just keep the beard, man. And yeah, Batista... I'm sure he'll do fine in the role, but that dude is insane. Like, legitimately, he's an insane person. So, Clobbering time, what's going on? How's it going? Clobbering times. Mr. Roy, I see you in here as well. G-Monkey76, I see the happy birthdays to Stephanie B. Boom, there's Stephanie B. Hello, Stephanie B. Happy birthday. I've said it a few times now, but now I'm finally caught up in the chat a little bit, and I guarantee you that comments must have been skipped. Like, no doubt in my mind. So yes, it's now jumped to 7:31 in the chat. It's 7:51, so I'm still 20 minutes behind, but that's where I am. Let me jump over to my D-Live fam real quick. D-Live fam. Daniel Thorne, tired, made it home safely from Tenet IMAX in Connecticut. Now I have to figure out a way to see it a second time without more train trips. That's right, Daniel Thorne. I forgot that you had to take a train to Connecticut. So travel through, what, 1 or 2 states or so to see it? Hopefully you enjoyed it. Phonemo, most of Nolan films have aggressive cuts, to be fair. I think, that might be true, because honestly, I don't know, but I can say I've never noticed it before. And I think that it was more noticeable this time because of the speed of the plot and the length of the movie. When you're doing it for that long, for that consistent of a time, I think it makes it more noticeable. Daniel Thorne, Todd, it's Taco Tuesday. Where's the grub? Yes, tacos were at school today, but I had chicken fingers because it was good. And then he says, new Star Wars book, Thrawn Ascendancy by Timothy Zahn is out and waiting for you today in printed audiobook format. Yeah, I'm actually about an hour and a half left in the Old Republic book that I've been listening to, which is, oh my goodness. Let me try and make sure. I want to make sure that I've given it the proper... let's see. Fatal Alliance. So by Sean Williams, hour and 47 minutes left. Star Wars Old Republic Fatal Alliance, freaking awesome. People have been saying it's the weakest in the Old Republic series. I still enjoy it. There's others in the series that I enjoy more, but this one I think does still stand by itself. And Mark Thompson is just so great. I always talk about how great he is doing the voice work for everything. He knocks it out of the park in this one too. Like, seriously, anything that dude reads, and I think he's the one reading the Timothy Zahn series too. So that's one where I might get to it, because obviously that is a newer series and it is under the Disney umbrella. So Timothy Zahn is still a great writer, but it's still also under Disney. And so here's the thing. Timothy Zahn in the original Thrawn trilogy had a voice chosen for Thrawn, and it was so brilliant and so terrifying. And I loved it. And then, of course, it was either Clone Wars or Rebels, they add in their own version of Thrawn, and they make it more of a soft-spoken voice. And then Mark Thompson, who wants to keep his job, is being directed by the new Disney era. Oh, we want consistency. I'm assuming this is what happened. It could have been his choice, but they told him to change his voice, and he's able to match the voice from the series almost perfectly because that's how great this guy is, but he didn't keep up that amazing Thrawn. So I've actually kind of not wanted to dive into the new Thrawn series, one, because it's Disney, but two, because it's not really the Thrawn that I was able to experience for the first time within the last couple of years in the original trilogy, in the original Thrawn trilogy, with the amazing voice that was being done by Mark Thompson. I don't want to hear this other voice that he's doing for it. It's just not as good. Captain Mr. Roy says, Cinemark's mask rules are the same as AMC. Yeah, and I want to say Regal's the same too. And it's realistic, right? They're not going to, they are at a point now where they are still losing money, right? They're at, 20% capacity in some states, 30, 40% capacity, depending on where you are. They need the money. So they can't afford to put someone in every screen to make sure that everyone's wearing a mask. They can't afford to piss off their patrons who are going to wear the mask into the building and around the building, but then as soon as they sit down, take it off. They can't afford it. So, I think that they have to put it on the books, and they have to do, obviously, the cleaning part of it, because that's where a lawsuit could potentially happen if they don't clean the seats between every screen. But yeah, I think that it's unrealistic for anyone to be checking in on people to make sure their masks are still on. All right. Candana Thorne, do you know if Pelosi was a good or bad tipper at that restaurant? It wasn't a restaurant. She was getting her hair did. She was getting her hair done. Not really a restaurant. Phonema then says, I hated the DVD menu for Memento, but loved the movie. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know if I have Memento on Blu-ray or not. I want to say I do, because I'm a big fan of the movie. I'm looking over at my Blu-ray collection, and I'm trying to see if it's up there. Let's see, Martian, Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl, Metropolis, and then Minority Report. So no, I don't have Memento on Blu-ray. I want to say I maybe had it on DVD at one point, so that's one that I might have to get on Blu-ray now, because I do enjoy it. It's been a long time since I've seen it. But yeah, DVD menus can sometimes be very annoying. You know what a great DVD menu is, though? A Knight's Tale. It's just great. It's very short, and it's great. All right, back over to YouTube at 7:33. Over on YouTube, it's 7:56 where I am, so you know what that means. Still about 20 minutes behind. Again, this little ticker down here has a lot of great information about how you can contact me and also how far behind I normally get. All right, so Edgardo Martinez at 7:33. I think one of the things that makes me like Inception so much is Zimmer's score so good. Yeah, and here's the thing. I think we loved the score when it first came out because it was good, it was unique. And I want to say now, when you go back to the movie, the score doesn't stand out as much because that set the tone for so many other movies, because almost every other movie, it seemed, every big budget film had that boom at some point. And so now you go back and listen to it and you're like, oh, I don't like this as much. It's still good. It's still Hans Zimmer, right? He's a great composer. But you see what I mean? How it kind of loses its effectiveness because of how poorly it's been used by other people. Forever Sci-Fi at 7:34, he's a member. Pattinson is bringing back the Adam West Batman. I don't need to work out because I'm Batman. Boom. Yeah. And again, if that's the kind of thing that bothers you, go ahead. Look up the old school Batman. Go look up Oldsmobile Batman. Iron Vet at 7:35. Do you believe Robert Pattinson looked older in Tenet and younger in The Batman? Ooh. I think he kind of did. Because, I mean, the dude's, 36 in real life? And he looked more, late 20s, early 30s in the Batman trailer. And he looks more his age in Tenet. So, yeah, I would say that's a fair assessment. Voice is starting to get a little tired. 70B, oh, hi, how you doing? Oh, hi, Stephanie B, happy birthday. Aha. Eric K, just say no to drug addict meth head Batman. Super says, agreed, I like Nolan, but I'm not a super fan, so I wasn't enamored with the trailer like others were, but even that little bit of footage I thought was beautiful. They nailed it. Yeah, seriously. Again, the look of the film is fantastic. It really, really is. I saw someone say what Jeremy rated. Jeremy did not have a rating when I saw it. Hardwick says, would Tenet be better if it cut to David Tennant and Chloe Bennett in the Senate when it showed the drawer with its bits of tin in it? Oh, Hardwick. Stephanie B. It's spelled tangerine, not tangent. What? Nathan Slay. Ben Shapiro is a really fast talker. Yes, and yet I can listen to him on 1.5 speed. Don't ask me how. I don't really listen to him much anymore, but I used to. And yeah, I would listen to his podcast at 1.5. Ernest Rojas, what's going on? Super. It seems interesting, just may not see in theaters. I'm kind of in between. Don't mind a thinking man's movie, but don't like having to see multiple times to understand. Yeah, super. Again, I understand that. That's how I said, this movie's not going to be for everyone, right? Just like Inception wasn't for everyone, this one's also not going to be for everyone. And I would say it's probably going to be for less people because it is more complex. But, for me, I like, and again, they're not dumb movies, but I like simpler plots and I like complex plots too, as long as they're done well and they work, right? There's a complex plot in Tenet that makes sense and works with what's given. And then, of course, there's a complex plot in Endgame, which doesn't work. And obviously I have a lot of problems with. Sorry, I'm distracted because little River is underneath my desk, just laid down with her ball right next to her and snoring, and it's very distracting because she's very cute. She makes little it's almost like pig grunts, and it is adorable. CW Trixie, how is it going? Glad to see you in the chat. The K-Man over on YouTube as well. 70B said at 7:40, I'm in the chat, and that was so very sweet. No problem at all, Stephanie B, shouting you out. And yes, the K-Man, thank you again for that very generous donation. Also, I'm just realizing, I really hope those super stickers by Eric K were not skipped. I don't think they were based on the timestamps I'm seeing, but some comments were skipped, so. All right, let's see. Let's see. Where are we in the chats? All right, everyone was in the chat saying, close your ears, close your ears. Peter has it spoiled. I warned. Grandpappy Fisk, Odin, what did you think of The Prestige? It is my favorite Nolan movie. Grandpappy Fisk, yes. The Prestige is probably my favorite Nolan film too. Again, Inception's great. Interstellar is a movie. The more I think about it and the more I've seen it, the more I've loved it. But The Prestige to me, I think, is just so well done. It's so effective. And it's one of those things where you have your mind blown, but it's in a much more contained and much more manageable plot. I would agree with you. I think The Prestige is the best. And that's one where it's available in 4K. I'm waiting for the price to drop a little bit, but you know what? To be honest, I might just go ahead and pull the trigger on it because it's not like it's too expensive, but it's definitely one I want to own in the best possible format. 70B Tag and says, make a paddle like Gary did for spoilers. Oh, wait, he has a paddle? That's awesome. That's fantastic. Yeah. Or I need to have like a little sticker, like a little pop-up. I have the windows that I can pop up. I need to create one where, it says spoiler. I forgot that he does that because I normally don't watch the streams when he's talking movies or shows because normally it's something that I either haven't seen yet and don't want to be spoiled on, or it's something that I plan to cover myself and don't want my thoughts to be affected by anyone else's. Kara Tharp, welcome to the chat. Glad to see you here. Excuse me. 70B says, you said duty. I did say duty because it's a big duty. It's a big duty. All right, 750 in the chat, and it looks like it's jumped on me, and no comments have been skipped. Oh no, Eric K's comments were skipped. Eric K, no, Eric K. I think the super stickers have been skipped. Well, it serves you right, Eric K, for sending so many over a short period of time. Oh no, those were a part of the ones skipped. All right, here's the thing. I can pull that up, actually, if I go to my channel real quick. Let me go to my super, because this is the only time that I'll actually use the super. So how like they keep track of super chats and there's a window for it. All right, so Eric K, thank you for the rose. I appreciate that. And then he sent me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces of birthday cake. Pink birthday cake, so I'm assuming that was meant specifically for 70B. So thank you very much for the super duper cake super stickers. Appreciate it. Glad I reminded myself that I could pull that up. So boom. Thank you very much, man. I'll just keep that over there just in case that happens again. Oh, little River, she's snoring and she sounds like a little pig. It's so cute. All right, let us see. Where were we in the chats before I jump now to D Live? Okay, there's the duty comment. There we go. All right, back over to D Live. Let's see. Phonema says, no comment skipped, but my shots. Daniel Thorne, thoughts on the movie Naked Lunch? It has too many metaphors to figure out what the point of the movie was. Never heard of it, so definitely never seen it. Will Gentry just got here. Would you say Tenet is okay to start but gets better and the last half hour is great? Is that your opinion of the movie? Because it sounds pretty good. I liked it all. Because to me, the opening sequence is one of my favorite parts of the movie. The opening sequence is just fantastic. It's just, as I said, it has a very much Dark Knight feel to it. You know how the Dark Knight opening is just one of those where you're like, oh, yeah, this is great. This is filmmaking. That's how I felt with the opening sequence for Tenet as well. So I think that one could say that there are parts that are better than others and that there's definitely a flow to the movie. But for me, I enjoyed it all. Again, but I've only seen it once, so that could obviously change. And then Will says, it was Jeremy John's opinion, and Lethal agreed with it. Yeah. I think that's a good one. I think that's where most people will probably fall. But for me, the opening sequence is so good, I can't say that it's just okay. So Nathan Slay over on YouTube now. So it's 7:51 in the YouTube chat. It's 8:05 in real life. So let's see. Nathan Slay, do you recommend watching Interstellar or The Prestige? I recommend both. I think they're both fantastic movies. However, Interstellar, you will probably hate the first time that you watch it. One, because it's a Nolan film, and so it makes you think. But two, there's a part in the movie where it just goes into pure theoretical physics. And for me, I wasn't expecting it, and I was like, no, this doesn't work. Anyone that's seen the movie, again, when it comes to Interstellar, right, it's been out for a while, so I'm not really going to, warn people about spoilers for that. But the part where the ship is in the black hole, right, you see something's happening to the ship, and then someone's outside of the ship, and it makes no sense to me why the ship is being crushed, but then the person in a suit is not. Now, again, if you use theoretical physics, that's how we are able to explain the sequence of events that happens after that with string theory and all this other stuff. So the first time I saw it, I was like, that was the time I checked out. I was like in love with Interstellar until he ejected from the ship. And then as soon as that happened, I was like, no, that doesn't make any sense at all. And so I hated it. Watched it a second time, ready for that to happen, expecting it, paying attention more to other elements of the movie so that when it did happen, I didn't have that instant hate. And then I was able to look at it through different eyes and say, oh, wait a minute, hold on. So I still have a lot of questions and I still don't like it, the way that it's being put together, but still able to enjoy it. So, yeah. And The Prestige is just damn good. So I would recommend The Prestige first if I had to pick an order there, because I think The Prestige might be the best. You're the best around, no one's ever going to keep you down. Forever Sci-Fi, remember, Regal isn't going to send teenagers in to argue with customers. No, right? Because people forget this. Most of the people working in movie theater or older people that are retired. I mean, even when I was working there, when I was in my 20s, even as a supervisor, it's like I wouldn't ever think, unless I was being forced to, or if it was like a company mandate for me to go in and check, even if I was, right, I would probably, unless there was a very clear, like, if we find out, well, because sometimes what happens is they do something called, secret shoppers. So, for instance, if an employee doesn't ask for a stubs card, because that's kind of the big thing that AMC does, is their royalty program. And so what they would do is AMC, corporate would send in people and they would just go to a movie, but they would check everything. They would check the box office and, hey, did you ask for a stubs card? Did you get ID'd at the bar, right? Because the bar policy is that every person, even if you're 88 years old, has to be ID'd. So kind of that secret shopper mindset. So if I knew that was going to happen, well then, yeah, I might actually, take it more seriously. And at that point, if they're sending someone in just to take their mask off to see if when the checks are done that it's being enforced, well then at that point, if it's the job and I care about it, right, then I probably would. I doubt they're doing that. I highly doubt that AMC is corporate is sending secret shoppers in to make sure that masks are being checked, at least inside the theaters, because of the whole drink policy. So, yeah. Forever Sci-Fi 76, no amount of spa and salon time can keep Pelosi from looking like the demon that she... We'll see. For me, I don't like going after nearly as much outer appearance, just for, obvious reasons. However, I would say that she'll have a lot to answer for other reasons. Specifically, claiming to be a Catholic and yet rejecting so many of the church's teachings. That is going to be the biggest thing for her. So I pray for her. I pray for her soul because she needs it. Just like we all do, but especially her. Hardwick says, Ted, do you think that right now theaters are operating at a loss or close to it, or are operating more to get people used to maintaining a theater-going habit than for present profit? It depends on the theater, Hardwick, because it was the CEO, I believe, of Cinemark came out and said if they were able to operate at a 20 to 30% capacity, that they would be profitable. But then again, that's assuming 100% capacity of that 20 to 30% capacity. And I'm assuming he's assuming that you're also still getting the same level of concessions in that 20 to 30% capacity as well. So I would say some theaters probably are doing well. Some are probably making money. Others probably aren't, and are probably more so trying to get people back into that habit. So yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. Jay Stowe 76, what's up, Odin? As for massive movie theaters, you need your mask off to eat their concessions anyway. Exactly. And again, they're not enforcing it. Once you are seated down, they're not gonna bother you. Not gonna bother you. Ooh, that's a good shout. Totally forgot about that. So Prestige, here's the thing. Normally, I think it's just always assumed that The Dark Knight is the best Nolan film. And so normally it's like, well, everyone says The Dark Knight. And so that's why normally my brain goes to specifically The Prestige. But yeah, yes, Dark Knight is probably one I would rewatch more so than The Prestige. But they're both great in their own way, too. 70B got kicked off by YouTube. What the hell, YouTube? What the hell's going on? Still 72 people watching. Smash the like button. Happy birthday, 70B. Nathan Slay. Tad, I love the action of John Wick. It's so very impressive. Absolutely. No shaky camera. Quick cuts. No. Again, great stunt work. Great stunt team. Absolutely. Also, I saw that Tina Bojan's in the chat. What's going on, Tina Bojan? Glad to see you here. Hardwick, between Tenet and Artemis Fowl, Kenneth Branagh is on fire this year. Granted, one of those is garbage fire, but still, dear Lord, don't remind me of Artemis Fowl, that crap. Tina says Tangerine? Tangent? Tenet? Okay. Slicer, I can listen to Shapiro on times 2. Anything slower is weak sauce. Boom, Slicer. Soul says, Ben Shapiro could be the new spokesperson for Micro Machines. Yes. Yeah, you remember there was that dude with the stash back in the 80s or 90s who had the world record for the fastest talk. And there was actually, he invented a game, and it was all about talking really fast. And you can put it on YouTube. He did, I think, a Michael Jackson song in he condensed the entire song into 20 seconds or something because he was so quick. It was crazy. It was so crazy. All right, let's see. Tina and whoever mentioned The Prestige, thank God Nolan read the book and went, I can cut out 60% of it and no one will miss it. The book was a mess. He made the plot cohesive. Yeah, so if anyone knows anything about movies and history and what's good and what's bad, it's Tina, the Empress of the Universe. And if she says the movie is better than the book, you know it's true. And so, yeah, apparently the book, The Prestige, is a mess, and Nolan was able to make it into a great story. So I'm always glad to hear that because it means, hey, I actually don't have to read the book. And in fact, it'd probably be worse if I read the book. Not to mention, the Prestige. The Prestige is a very prestigious movie because it's just got a great cast. It's a film that I think does not get enough attention. It's amazing that film came out in 2006. But I mean, Christian Bale, Hugh Jackman, Scarlett Johansson, you've got Michael Caine. Michael Caine's been doing these movies forever, man. And probably my favorite casting, David freaking Bowie as Nikola Tesla. God, I love Bowie in that film. And I always forget that Bowie's in the movie. But he's so great. I love it. All right. Chat has jumped on me. All right, let's see. All right, found my place in the YouTube chat. Let's see if anything's happening over on Zidilav. Zidilav fam. Daniel Thorne, Phonemo just called the movie Naked Lunch by David Cronenberg brilliant. Now you gotta watch it. Well, it's called The Naked Lunch, and I haven't really seen anything by David Cronenberg, so I have nothing to I have nothing to really to make me want to see it. Will Gentry, when I was young, and they packed me off to school. Will Gentry, you should know that song. It's a band that features Your Kind, the English. I love you. I love all my UK brothers and sisters. Anyway, when I was young, we had the show Record Breakers. It was about people trying to break world records each week. Ooh, nice. I remember one week they had a speed a speed talker like the one you just talked about. It was crazy to listen to. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing what they're able to do. Will Gentry then says, "My kind, you damn ist." Much love, Will. Much love. Oh, you know the British are their own kind. It's just Forever Sci-Fi. I saw your reference to Eric K, and it's great. Sorry, Eric K, the cake was a lie. The cake is a lie. Yes. Forever Sci-Fi, who's a member. Any interest in seeing Fatima? I'm curious about it, but I'm not sure about paying $20 on Amazon for it. Yeah, that's my thought. I thought Fatima was coming to theaters, and then I found out that it was on demand. And so part of me is interested in it because I've heard some people in the Catholic community talking about it. It's not perfect. It apparently though does have a lot of good things about it. So actually what I ended up doing instead was I ended up buying a book that was made back in 1956, and it's a history of Fatima. And so I think I'm going to go into that a little bit just to kind of, keep my thoughts on it. But eventually, of course, I do want to watch it. So I hope that it comes to a local theater near me. And so that way I'm able to see it that way. Forever Sci-Fi then says, I like Interstellar, but I'd never go to space with Matt Damon. Matt Damon. Yes, Matt Damon. Fun story. Some of my students don't have any idea who Matt Damon is. I guess that's a good thing, though. I guess that's a good thing. Jacob Vuk. What is going on? Peter Hahn. Yes, I did work at a theater. No, you will not equate that. You will not equate that with Nerdrotic Gary saying that he worked at a comic store. I do not say it as often as he did. I see what you did there, Peter. Forever Sci-Fi. I thought the black hole was artificially created and controlled because they were living in it, so they could decide what got crushed and what didn't. Yeah, Forever Sci-Fi. I think that's how a lot of people might explain it. Like there's always gonna be something that you can hold on to say, okay, this is how we can think of it. But for me, even now, that's why I want to watch it again, to be honest, because it's like maybe there is something that I missed. Because that's the thing with Nolan films, right? And people always say that, saying, why do I need to watch a film more than once? Well, because Nolan is such a brilliant filmmaker that he puts so many minute details in there that you're gonna miss them. Right. So even though I think I was able to actually pick up more than what other people apparently have been picking up with Tenet, again, that's not me tooting my own horn. It's just I literally went in hyper focused because people were saying, "Oh yeah, it's the craziest thing ever," and I'm like, "Oh okay, well I don't want to miss anything." So boom, and so because of that, I was ready for it. And then others I think went in with a more casual mindset, which hey, that's how you want to usually enjoy a movie, right? So it makes sense. So that's why I kind of want to see it again, just because I want to be able to dive in. Same thing with Interstellar. I would love to watch it I think because I've only seen it, I want to say 2 times, 3 max. And I think both of the first times were in theaters specifically. So yeah. Let's see. Forever Sci-Fi. I'm not knocking her looks. I think she's actually a demon in disguise. I see. Nathan Slay, is Interstellar sad? Is there a twist? It's a Nolan movie. It's a Nolan movie. What Nolan film doesn't have a twist in some way or another? I mean, even his historical film Dunkirk had a twist technically when you think about the timelines. Like, so of course it does. Yes, absolutely. And is it sad? Absolutely. There's definitely sad moments. I mean, it deals with the issue of space travel and how, you could be in a position at some point where you are not growing old, but all of your family that you've left behind are. That can be difficult. So yeah, there's some sad moments in there for sure. And great acting. Matthew McConaughey, I mean, come on. The fact that that's not the role that got him an Oscar is sad, because the acting he does, especially in those scenes when he's watching the videos of his kids. But it is funny because the acting's so good, and yet that whole sequence of him crying has been used in so many great memes and so many great videos. It's one of those things where, like, sometimes great acting, it's just like I talk about this a lot. in the movie Downfall, right? So Downfall, it's a German film, and everyone's probably seen a clip of it, even if you've never heard of the film, where it's the guy who's doing a brilliant performance as Adolf Hitler, but people are putting different English subtitles about anything, right? So, it's about him ranting over season 8 of Game of Thrones or something like that. And it's just brilliant what they're able to do with it, but it's still a great performance, right? And so, yeah, that's kind of how I feel about that scene from Interstellar. So, yeah, it is sad, but it is also, it is very, very good. And as I said, it's a Nolan movie. I can't think of a single Nolan film that does not have a twist of some kind. People, I think I saw someone mention Insomnia. That's actually one movie I've not seen, I think, all the way through. I want to say I've maybe have seen bits and pieces of it, so that might be one I have to watch. I'm trying to do something one-handed. It's not working. I'm trying to connect this to charge. No, I do not want to use the stopwatch. Come on. There we go. Charging up. Cool. All righty here. Let us see. Renegade Spider, 299. I need to catch up videos, including yours, Odin, if you don't mind me asking. Renegade, dude. No, not cool. Renegade. I've answered your question. That means you either weren't paying attention or you left and came back. And I do not stand for that. Right? If you need to leave and come back, that's great. Don't ask the same question, though. That bothers me. Iron Vet, have you seen the Death on the Nile trailer? Yes, I have, and I'm intrigued. I'm definitely intrigued. Kenneth Branagh is a great actor, so I'm very, very excited to see that. Forever Sci-Fi 813, I still have some Micro Machines. 80s and 90s toy commercials were the best, even if the toys sucked. Yeah, sometimes commercials were better than the toys themselves. Oh, those were the days. Alrighty. Let's see. Dude, Renegade, is that another film that you... Dude, Renegade, you double posted 2 of your comments. That's even worse. Don't do that, man. Slicer. John Morshita still is fastest talking man. Transformers fans know him as Blur. Cool guy. Nice. Yeah, I want to say someone in Hamilton, in the play Hamilton, might actually give him a run for his money, because one of the roles in the show and one of the songs requires a lot of really, really quick talking. So, Edgardo Martinez says, YouTube kicked me. I'm very sorry. I don't know why YouTube keeps kicking people off. I got 66 people watching. Did 10 people get kicked off? That's sad. Why? Why would you do that? Instead of be, when I was young. Nope, that's not the song I was singing. I never needed anyone, and making love was just for fun. Those days are gone. I was not singing that. That was not the song. I was singing a song by the band Jethro Tull, whose lead singer is Ian Anderson. And yes, I know I'm a little young to be a fan of theirs, but actually my first concert was a Jethro Tull concert when I was around 9 or 10 years old. I was the youngest person in there by a long shot, but it was a wonderful concert and so much damn fun. But no, when I was young and they packed me off to school and they taught me how not to play the game, I didn't mind if they groomed me for success. Ugh. Or if they say that I was just a fool. Ah, such a great song and a great band. Jethro Tull. Shout out to any Jethro Tull fans out there. Hardwick, did the ending of The Prestige take you out of the story due to the way it threw the realism of the earlier scenes out the window and turned into fantasy? Nope, not at all. I thought it worked perfectly, and to me, it just made the film better because you were like, whoa, that's awesome. Eric K. Odin gets and deserves no cake on his birthday party. Pooper, Eric K. I'm not a party pooper. Every party has a pooper. Nathan Slay, say what you will about Memento, but that movie has such a gut punch of an ending, and I love for it. Yeah, it's a great ending. HyperX13, for you in the chat, choose your destiny. Christopher Nolan or Denis Villeneuve? Ooh. I think the chat, for the most part, is going to choose Nolan. I have to. All right. I'm going to say Nolan because of The Dark Knight. Because what I was going to do was I was going to compare them. Denis Villeneuve just doesn't have as many films in his filmography. Don't get me wrong. He's probably my favorite working director to this day. But yeah, I mean, because he's got Prisoners, he's got Enemy, he's got Sicario. God, Sicario, talk about underrated movies. Sicario might be one of the most underrated films of the decade. Dear Lord, Sicario's so good. Arrival was good, not his best, but it was still very good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Blade Runner 2049 to me was fantastic. I think Dune is going to be great too. He's working on Cleopatra. So, which I'm sure that Tina has a lot of thoughts on. But you know what? If anyone could give it, any sense of respect, it would be Denis Villeneuve. But I think I'd probably have to go Nolan. But not happily. Renegade Spider says, you do say you worked at a movie theater more than Nerdrotic says he owned a comic book store. JK. No. He says it every single time. I used to say it more often than not. Tina B, the Prestige novel told 4 stories, 2 about their descendants. Those were the bookends. And then 2 detailed diaries by the antagonist. Weak, anticlimactic ending. So very sad. Hardwick, what are your thoughts on the illusionist? The illusionist? Oh my God, the illusionist. I don't know why I just messed up on that. But, yeah, it's a fun story because the illusionist and the Prestige came out like around the same exact time. And so many people still to this day go think and say, well, yeah, which one's which? Obviously, if you are a fan of one or the other, you know the difference between them. But it is still fun to be like, two movies about magic that both came out the same year and had similar, plots. Not a similar plot, but similar points that they hit. I think they're both great films. I do like The Illusionist though. Edward Norton gives a great role, and I like the direction that the film goes in. So yeah, I like it. Edgardo Martinez is a member. Question: did you ever make the 10 question test David Lynch suggested for Mulholland Drive? I think it's easier than the movie that he suggested them. Yeah, here's the thing. I don't like David Lynch. I don't think he's a good filmmaker. I think he's vastly overrated because the 2 films that I've seen by him, I've both hated. I've hated them. And if I can like a complicated movie like Inception, like Tenet, David Lynch ain't too complicated. David Lynch is just, again, people like to say that Nolan's full of Nolan. No. Nolan's a brilliant filmmaker who might go off a little bit. David Lynch loves himself some David Lynch. Let's just say that. Hyprin says, I think if Dunkirk and Darkest Hour were combined as one movie, that would be fantastic. # release the Darkest Hour Dunkirk cut. Yeah, I think if you had the filmmaking of Dunkirk, but the acting, character, story of Darkest Hour, yes. Because Dunkirk did not have characters. Like, seriously, to me, that film was very forgettable. Because I can't remember a single character. I can't remember really anything from the movie, other than it looked great. Production-wise, it was fantastic. Darkest Hour, I can remember the characters. I can remember the performances. But the production was good, but it could have been better. So yes, I think that if you combine those elements together, you would have a perfect story for that time in history. All right, we are at around time, so we do need to start wrapping things up. So let me go ahead and see what's going on with my DLAF fam. Much love. Of course, Will Jenner's going to put the Captain Marvel heart in there. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you? Phone Emo, the second Batman movie, did not have a Nolan twist. The Dark Knight, maybe not in the same way, but it had its twists and turns. It did still have twists and turns. I think you'd be right if you said it didn't have like that big twist that normally his movies have, but they had twists and turns in that. Yeah, I mean, the fact that he switches up Rachel, that was actually a pretty big moment because you knew he was going to Rachel, and then all of a sudden, it ain't Rachel there, right? That, I think, was a pretty big twist. There's twists in it, but yeah, I see what you mean. So, Phone Emo, I see what you did there. But I still disagree. It still has twist in it. Will Gentry says, yes, it did. The twist was that the woman in it was Katie Holmes. I had no idea it was her until they revealed her name. Rachel. Talk about the worst parts of that movie. If there's anything cringeworthy about The Dark Knight, the one part that's cringeworthy is Aaron Eckhart yelling Rachel's name. It's almost as cringeworthy as Martha. That's the level of cringe it is. Will Gentry, oh, it was Jethro Tull. Damn, that takes me back. Damn right it should. That's my jam. Phonemo, who considers Sicario and Arrival as bad movies? No one considers Sicario as a bad movie. It's a lot of people have not seen Sicario or even heard of it. By the way, anyone, if you've not seen Sicario, do yourself a favor and watch it. It is probably one of the best movies you're ever going to see. It's so good. The fact that it tells a movie about the southern border and isn't political by itself should be worthy of praise. I mean, come on. The movie was made back in 2015 or so? And the fact that it wasn't political then, when this was still a hot button issue, that is worth commending. And that's because it was all about the story. It was all about the filmmaking. And I still remember the opening scenes and just the filmmaking, the cinematography. It's just, oh my God, seriously, go do yourself a favor and watch Sicario. The sequel's great too. It has the same writer, doesn't have the same director, so it's not as good, but it's still good because it's got the same writer. And the writer's great. But yeah. But there are some people that don't like Arrival. Because again, it was a little bit too complicated, I think. And again, I can respect people that don't like those kind of things. K-Man's, this is K-Man. I believe Odin worked at a movie theater. I'm still not sold on this apparent movie blog he claims. I'm trying, man. I'm trying. I have 2 movie reviews in less than a week. That's more than I've done in 6 months. I'm getting there. Will Gentry. For me, it has to be unexpected to count as a twist. I saw the Rachel switch coming a mile away, so personally I would not count it. But technically, yes, it was a twist. Yes, it was. Just because you have the power of perception and predicting things, and just because, you might be able to point out how it was predictable, does not mean it's not a twist. All right? Just because it wasn't a twist for you, it wasn't made for you, Will. Someone that loves Captain Marvel was made for you. All right, Slicer at 820. I saw that meme for Battlefield 5. Hashtag not others Battlefield. Yes. Hardwick, there actually is a fan edit that combines Dunkirk and Darkest Hour into one movie. It's called Finest Hour by Maple Films. There are 2 versions, one color and one black and white. Interesting. 13th Warrior, this is Google. Since you won't let me talk, I'm forced to text you. I told her to shut up. Renegade, sorry, thought they may have been skipped. Yeah, if you disappear for 10 minutes, man, come on. Iron Vet, there are actually 2 Insomnia movies, U.S. and Norwegian. Oh, okay. Obviously, I'm talking about the U.S. one. Edgardo Martinez, did someone watch G.I. Joe on the Hasbro channel last night? I did not. Not me. Super says, Kenneth Branagh is awesome. I'm also really interested to see how Gal Gadot does in the movie. Oh, yes, talking about Death on the Nile. At first, I was like, Gal Gadot's not in Tenet? Ah, yes, Death on the Nile. Yeah, I am too. I think the cast looks great. Kenneth Branagh. I actually like the first film because this is actually the second film in the series done by Kenneth Branagh as the role of Poirot. Probably mispronouncing that terribly, but he's great. And I think Kenneth Branagh might be one of the best parts of Tenet. His acting in the film is just so good. Soul Assassin, not Jethro Tull. Who's directing Cleopatra? What? Yeah, Tina. Yeah, Denis Villeneuve. The one that Steph loves to spell. The one that I love to talk about. Denis Villeneuve. He's in pre-production on Cleopatra. Now, I'm not sure if it's like trying to be like a reimagining or revisioning of like original Cleopatra, or if it's just the story of Cleopatra, just in a more, again, original take on it or not. But I would trust Denis Villeneuve, personally. I'd let him babysit my kid. I'm kidding. I don't know him. I wouldn't let anyone I don't know babysit my kid. Oh, Lordy. That was fun. That was fun for me. Orange Chat Reviews. Dark Knight had a twist. Rachel died. Yeah, but some people are going to say, Will Gentry over here is going to say, no, it's not because I knew it was going to happen. Sorry, I meant to say, I'm sorry. I knew it was going to happen. I'm from Britain. I love you. I love you. I love you so much. As my brother from the UK says, I love you so much. Favorite sci-fi. It had a big twist. Rachel died. Boom. Both said Rachel died as the twist. Do the twist. Nathan Slade, Dark Knight Rises twist. Nolan said it would be just as good as the first 2 Batman movies, but then in a twist it wasn't. Nathan Slade, that's a great comment. Oh, poor Dark Knight Rises. It never stood a chance. It never stood a chance. Oh, man. Forever Sci-Fi is a member. Saved 1/2 of 2 people. Good job, Batman. That's another great comment. Good job, man. You saved half the person. Oh, Lord. Oh, that's great. I love you guys. Y'all are fantastic. Super says, agreed. Deacon's wide shots are insane. Oh, my God, dude. Super. I didn't even say the best part. Denis Villeneuve not only directed it, but then you had freaking Roger Deakins, one of the best cinematographers working, doing the shots. I forgot he did the shots for Sicario. Gosh, dude, now I want to watch Sicario again. It's so good. Tina says, but most important of all, did Scott Mendelsohn like Tenet? I don't care what Scott Mendelsohn says. That dude defended, seriously, I'm going to say it every time. That dude defended cuties. His opinion is completely invalid from this point forward. He can just go away. He can go away. Thursday the Warrior, I had tickets to see Martin Barr and a couple of other former Tull members for 50 years of Jethro Tull next month in Chicago. Rescheduled for March 2021. Oh, no. And again, not to be, morbid, but I really hope that they are still around. They're getting up there in years. They were rock stars, so obviously drugs were involved at some point. So I really hope that they are still around because, dude, even now at their age, they're still rocking. Just look up the videos, man. Unfortunately, Ian Anderson, because he had throat surgery and it just messed up his voice. He can't sing at all. The dude can still play the flute. Like, there's no greater flautist, which is the fancy word for flute player. There's no better flautist than him. Tina says, I hope Diddly New V. That's what she says. Diddly New V. Denis Villeneuve. Gets out of his Cleopatra with his brain intact. The Liz Taylor version destroyed careers, nearly bankrupted 20th Century Fox, finally broke even after years. Wow, okay, I actually didn't know that all, Tina. Again, that's why you're a historian and you should start your own channel. Because then I can learn that stuff. But yeah, something tells me Denis Villeneuve will. If you watch his film Enemy, I think this is a dude that can handle complex stories and things. Let's see. Slice of Neons. Jethro Tull is who? Jethro Tull. It's the name of the band. It's not a person. Tina B. Dil New V. A year into Cleopatra, I picked a bad day to quit Storton Glue. But here's the real thing. Have you ever seen a grown man naked? Do you like gladiator movies? 70B, yes, but the spelling, flautist. Yeah, flautist. If anyone doesn't know, you may actually, here's a fun fact. Fun fact of the day. If you've ever seen the movie Anchorman, you have heard about Jethro Tull before in an indirect way. If you remember the scene when Ron Burgundy is playing the flute at the restaurant, one, that is a clear dedication to Ian Anderson, to the flautist lead singer of Jethro Tull, just based on what he does, based on just the crazy stuff and the sounds he does, but also because at one point, right, he stops playing, and what does he yell? Aqualung, which is one of the songs sung by Jethro Tull. So there's your fun fact of the day. Jethro Tull was in your life before you even knew it. If you've ever seen Anchorman, you're welcome. You are welcome for that. Let us see. Will Gentry says, yeah, Maggie had far more grace than Katie Holmes did. I thought they both did fine. I actually like both of them in the role, to be honest. Let's see. Phonemo over on D-Live. Who considers Sicario as a bad movie? So I actually missed that first comment. So that's why I was like, wait a minute. I thought I went back in time a little bit. Yes, technically a twist. McQueen, I'm not worthy. Captain Mr. Roy, thank you for the diamond donation. Going to see Tenet. See you later, Mr. Roy. Hope you enjoy it, man. Again, hyper-focus. Pay attention, or you'll miss something. Hope you enjoyed the film, though, Mr. Roy. All right, back over to D-Live. Let's go. Back over to YouTube. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. Hardwick says there's a Poirot TV series called starring David Suchet, started in the 1980s. Suchet set such a high bar with the performance, and I doubt anyone will ever best him in that role. Never seen him in that role. However, I can say that you have a wonderful Poirot with the newer films. Super, do we know if Cleopatra's coming out before or after Dune Part 2? It didn't say. I don't think Dune Part 2 was listed. So he is not right now pegged to direct Dune Part 2, or at least it has not been announced. Right now, as far as Denis Villeneuve goes, he's got Dune, which is in post-production. He's got Cleopatra, which is in pre-production. And then he's also involved in the TV series that's going to be coming out in the Dune universe as well. I think it's going to be HBO Max. I could be wrong on that, but I think that's the case. Hybrid X13. Don't forget the Riddler, Wolverine, and Mysterio were in Prisoners. Dude, that's right. Dude, Paul freaking Dano's in Prisoners. Go see Prisoners too. God, Denis Villeneuve. Such a good director. I love his stuff. Love his stuff. All right, Hardwick, original Cleopatra, 1934, directed by Cecil B. DeMille, starring Claudette Colbert was a success. The remake starring Elizabeth Taylor was a failure. Hardwick, yeah, here's the thing. You never need to fact check Tina, because I knew which version she was talking about. So, you're welcome. Eric K. Maggie was a horrible choice when Heath said, "Hello, gorgeous, I laughed." No! Eric K., that's mean. That's mean, Eric K. I think Maggie Gyllenhaal is I think she's a beautiful woman. That's what I think. I think she's a beautiful woman. You know what else? I think her brother is also a beautiful man. So, there I said it. Jake Gyllenhaal is beautiful, and Jake Gyllenhaal should be the next Batman. All right, with all that being said, Tina B, Elizabeth Taylor's version eventually broke even, but thanks to bookkeeping, it took years. No movie should break people the way that one did, and I'm sure Tina has so many stories about that, and I wouldn't be surprised if those eventually come back up on the next Chosen of Valhalla stream. So, with that all being said, much love to every single person out there. Daniel Thorne, I tell you one thing that really drives me nuts, there's people who think that Jethro Tull is just a person, not a band. Daniel Thorne, I'm right there with you, man. It's not a person. It's a band. Seriously, though, thank you all so very much for being amazing and beautiful people. I love you guys. Seriously, it's been a lot of fun. You mean you can say, "I cannot quit you"? Yes, it's exactly right, Eric K. That's exactly right. I wish I knew how to quit you. Yeah, that's right. I forgot that they were in the movie together. So let me go ahead and shout out my Army of Asgard, Keep It the Bifrost people. We got Bruce, Andrew Hoyle, Sushi Joe, Eric K, Orange at Reviews, Adam Avery, Latino Slant, The Bosco 2000, Twirly Wolf, Jace Doe, and Aiden Vickery. Thank you so very much for being my members over on YouTube. Shout out to the D-Live fam. Dean Heiss, Captain Dean Heiss, of course, dropping 3 ice creams over there. I appreciate it very, very much. Thank you to everyone that donated over on YouTube tonight. Seriously, shout out to the K-Man. Daniel Thorne, thank you for the 2 ice cream donations. 3 ice cream donations. Lord, my voice. But seriously, K-Man, thank you so very much for your generosity. Stephanie B, contact me over on the Twitter because we'll make sure to set you up with a movie of your choice as the K-Man's request. And yeah, seriously, shout out to 70B and Tina for being my awesome Valkyries in the chat, and special birthday shout out to Stephanie B. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Stephanie B. Happy birthday to you. I hope you enjoyed that. I don't know what voice that was, but it was something. So hope you enjoy it. You guys are all amazing and beautiful people. Make sure you smash the happy birthday Stephanie B in the chat. Angry Mango, what's going on? Coming at the last second. Love you guys so very much. Have a wonderful day. This is going to be the last day for the August Patreon Subscribe Star Shouts, but I think the list is essentially the same for September, but I'll make sure to film that before the next video. I say that, but this week has been crazy. So I love you guys so very much. Have a wonderful night, and as always, God bless. And now a huge shout out to all of my August Patreon and Subscribe Star members. Starting on Patreon, Albertus Magnus, Animation Commentator, Brian P., David Bobrizik, Dion, Divex, Enrique Evangelista, Father Christopher Miller, Hail Father, Father Damian Cook, Frank the Tank and the Shawhan Wiener Dog Clan, Harold Francis, the Hunka Chunky Funky Monkey, Inflamed Wood, Trap Productions, Jason Clark, Jacob Juice, Jeffrey Toon, Jonathan Carney, Kenneth Cameo, Lady T, Laura Story, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mike Jackson, Mr. Peabody and his evil twin with the beautiful hair, On to June, Orange Hat Reviews, Out of Step with Reality, Riff Magos, Rosetta Allen, Steve Glasker, Teresa Martin, Theodore Bendon, Tina Bojan, and Tina B., my Valkyrie and Empress of the Universe. Thank you so much for supporting me on Patreon. And also, shout out to my Subscribestar peeps, Stand For, John B., Perpetual Punster, Robert Revo, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, Darkstar57, J. Alex McCarthy Jr., US 888209 Fast, Dean Heiss, Harold Francis, J-Rod the Beer Guru, Nebadon G. Adams, and ZK Man, and Outpost Dyer. Thank you all so very much for supporting me this month. You guys are freaking awesome. If you want your name shouted out at the end of every single video and live stream, and also if you want to have access to special perks like giveaways and an exclusive podcast that I do with fellow YouTuber John the Flick Pig Flickinger, please check out Patreon, Subscribestar, and YouTube memberships in the links below. You guys are all awesome. I love you to death. Have a wonderful day, and as always, God bless.